Hello, my dear children. I am Binita, and today we will discuss 9th Standard Biology chapter Diversity in Living Organisms. This is session 1. Welcome, dear children. Children, have you ever thought of the multitude of life forms that surround us? Each organism is different from all others to a lesser or greater extent, right? For example, consider yourself and your friend. Are you both of the same height? No, right? Does your nose look exactly like your friend's nose? No. Is your hand span the same as your friend's? No. So, dear children, if we were to compare ourselves and our friends with a monkey, what would we say? Obviously, we and our friends have a lot in common when we compare ourselves with a monkey. Am I right? But suppose if we were to add a cow to the comparison, we would then think that the monkey has lot more in common with us than with the cow, right? So children, now think of all the different forms in which life occurs on earth. On one hand, we have microscopic bacteria. You can see here in this visual, we have microscopic bacteria of few micrometer in size, right? While on the other hand, we have blue whale of approximately size 30 meters, right? Do you know that some pine trees live for thousands of years while insects like mosquito they die within few days? Life also ranges from colorless or even transparent worms to brightly colored birds and flowers. Okay, so this bewildering variety of life around us has evolved on the earth over millions of years. However, we do not have more than a tiny fraction of this time to try and understand all these living organisms. So we cannot look at them one by one, right? So instead, we look for similarities among the organisms, which will allow us to put them into different classes and then study different classes or groups as a whole, right? So children, the arrangement of organisms into different groups on the basis of similarities in their characteristics is called as classification of living organisms. Okay. Now, children, let's see how is evolution and classification they are interlinked. All living things are identified and categorized on the basis of their body design in form and function. So some characteristics are likely to make more wide-ranging changes in body than others. Okay, so there is a role of time in this as well. So once a certain body design comes into existence, it will shape the effects of all other subsequent design changes, simply because it already exists. Okay, in other words, characteristics that came into existence earlier are likely to be more basic than the characteristics that have come into existence later. Okay, this means that the classification of life forms will be closely related to their evolution. But what is this evolution? So most life forms that we see today have arisen by an accumulation of changes in body design that allow the organism possessing them to survive better. Okay, so this Charles Darwin first described this idea of evolution in 1859 in his book The Origin of Species. Okay, so when we consider this idea of evolution to classification, we will find some groups of organisms which have Asian body designs that have not changed very much. We will also find other groups of organisms that have acquired their particular body design relatively recently. So those in the first group are frequently referred to as primitive or lower organisms, while those in the second group are called advanced or higher organisms. Okay. Children, in the past, various attempts were made by biologists to classify the living organisms. Okay, uh, but this classification Whittaker proposed has five kingdoms. Okay, so he proposed that all the living organisms should be divided into five major kingdoms. Okay, on the basis of nature of cell. Nature of cell, that means whether the cell is prokaryotic or eukaryotic. Okay. The second basis is number of cell, that means whether the organism is made up of one cell or more than one cell. That means whether the organism is unicellular or multicellular. And the last basis is mode and source of nutrition. That means whether the nutrition is autotrophic or heterotrophic. And suppose if it is heterotrophic, then what is the source of nutrition? If it is dead and decomposing body, then it will be a saprotrophic mode of nutrition, right? And if the organism is engulfing the entire food content and digesting inside the body, then it is holozoic mode of nutrition, right? So on these three bases, Whittaker, he proposed five kingdom classification. Okay, uh, let's have a look in this flowchart. So suppose if the organism is prokaryotic and it is made up of one cell, then the kingdom will be Monera. Okay, that means all the organisms belonging to Monera kingdom, they are prokaryotic and they are just made up of one cell. Okay, but suppose if the organism is made up of one cell but it is eukaryotic in nature, then it will belong to the kingdom called as Protista. Okay. Suppose if the organism is eukaryotic multicellular and cell wall is there. Okay. Cell wall is there, but if it is not able to do photosynthesis, then the kingdom will be called as fungi. And if the organism is eukaryotic multicellular, cell wall is present but able to do photosynthesis, then the kingdom will be called as plantae. Okay. And the last kingdom is Animalia. It will involve the organisms which are eukaryotic in nature. They are made up of more than one cell and they will lack cell wall. Okay. And the mode of nutrition in them will be heterotrophic. Okay. So this last kingdom is called as Animalia. Now children, this kingdom is such a large group. So it will be divided into certain subgroups. Okay, so each kingdom has been further classified into smaller subgroups at various levels. It is called as a hierarchy of classification. So according to that, kingdom will be divided into phylum. Phylum will be divided into class. Class will be divided into order. Order divided into family. Family divided into genus. And then the last one is species. Children, here is one simple acronym for all of you. With the help of that, it will be easier for you to learn this hierarchy. Okay. Acronym is King Philip came over for good spaghetti. Where K stands for kingdom, E stands for phylum, C stands for class, O stands for order, F stands for family, G stands for genus, and S stands for species. Okay. Children, kingdom is the largest unit of biological classification. Okay. In the animal kingdom, the term phylum is used instead of division in the plant kingdom. Okay. In case of plant kingdom, the next subgroup will be division, not phylum. But in case of Animalia kingdom, after Animalia, next subgroup will be phylum. Okay. So as we have seen that in the hierarchy, species is coming at the end. So dear children, species can be defined as the basic unit of classification. And it involves a group of organisms which can interbreed with each other. Okay. Children, here is worksheet 1 on the basis of topics that we have discussed today. And the first question is, what are the basis of five kingdom classification? You just need to write down those three bases. Okay. Second question is, define species. Here 2 points will come. I hope you'll be able to write down the answer. First is species is the basic unit of classification, and it involves group of organisms which can interbreed with each other, right? That's all for today's session, children. Thank you.